Sahana Vavatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I always shuffle the questions, because then people say, the last one gets put on top, and mine was first, and the last one gets read first. Those problems won't be there now. Would you be willing to share which verses of the Vedanta text you are planning to unfold? I'm willing to share when I know it. What I'm thinking of doing, I suppose this is the question on Vedanta Dindima, right? Gita, every verse, yes, whatever verse we encounter. This, what I'm planning to do with this is to take the text in blocks. Like the first 11 verses, they have a synergy and they have a theme. It's all about reducing, for example, the theme of the first 11 verses is about reducing the world into two. It's not two, but it's variegated, it's many. But then, what do? I reduce it into two. Drishya, that which is objects, world of objects, that which is seen, and by implication that which is heard, which is experienced, which is through various sense organs. And then, what's the other side? Drik, seer. And it's very nice, it kind of sneaks up on you. First you are told, there's only two things you need to know. Drik and Drishya, that's all. And as the person is getting lulled into complacency, then it is pointed out, Drik is you, Satyam, Drishya is Mithya. And then, as you are assimilating that, then it is pointed out in the next set of verses that Mithya is nothing but Satyam. What? Then what was the point of separating? You separate in order to unite. So it's a very, very clever text. The drum beats are very sneaky and addictive and extremely clever. So, yes, as we go along, I will share. Yeah. On the day off, you will know which verse we are doing, because it just lends itself to, not so much to. There are specific verses that are important. I can tell you that tomorrow. I can tell you there's about, in the 95 verses, there are about 20, maybe 25 that must be looked at and must be studied and whose message must be internalized. But if we just study those, we'll be doing a disservice to the patterns that we see. And so we'll take not text, not verse by verse, but a certain topic by topic. And one topic can cover, like I gave an example just now, one topic can cover more than one verse. Okay, yeah. If we study it verse by verse, then we should do all the verses. Since we don't have time for that, We don't want to be worse off. So, we'll do it topic by topic. Can we ask you please to share some stories of Pujya Swamiji? Certainly. But the very important question is where to begin. Where to begin, that is the thing. And what would be the most relevant to listen to right now? Maybe a story about how the jnani, a person of self-knowledge, deals with the body body-mind complex. Once I was with him in Spain, and Pujya Swamiji was due to give some talk the next day and developed really severe chest pains in the night. And it was so bad he was crying out in pain, holding his chest and crying out in pain. And it was not too late, it was about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, something, 7 o'clock. So there were some people who we knew. We knew the delegates, of course, and the organizers, but there were some Indians who had settled there, they didn't know Swamiji, but they had heard of somebody who knew Swamiji. They were relatives of them. So they had come to see, and I remembered that they had come to see Swamiji earlier, and one of them was a doctor, so I called him immediately, and he came and gave some medicine. I think it turned out that it was not chest pains after all. It was some gastric issue. But since he had a history of heart issues, we were very careful. Then the medicine was administered. That took about half an hour. Now I think we are looking at 8:30. So then he felt better. He said, "Oh, I feel great." This is wonderful. And then those people got ready to leave. And then I said, he was walking out of the hotel. I said, no, Swamiji, your room is this side. He said, who is going into the room? He said, I want to test the nightlife here. I said, really, Swamiji? Yes. I want to take a ride. I want to go for a drive. Who is going into the room? Not me. Then I said, those people already left. I wish I had known, because I would have made them stop and you could have gone in their car. He said, no, that's boring. Call a taxi. So I called a taxi. And he waited in the lobby, and then we took this cab, and then that man was, I think he was a Pakistani man, so I could speak with him. He understood Hindi, I could speak with him. So then he said, where to go? And Swamiji said, just drive, go around. Still there was little discomfort, but not too much. He was much better. And so I told this man, I said, you have no idea who your passenger is. I said, this is a saint. I said, you're driving a saint. And the word in Urdu is Peer. You're driving a saint, I said. And I said, we are so fortunate to be here in this moment. I hope you see this. And he said, oh, I had a feeling all along. And then he said, I want to know when my middle daughter will get married. He had 3 daughters. And Swamiji just said a date. And then he looked at me and he just smiled. And I said, Swamiji, you know that this is going to happen? And he said, why not? It might. It may well happen. Those were his words. It may well happen. Might well happen. Then like this, he wanted to know whether his aged mother should go in for bypass surgery. Swamiji said, immediately, take her. Like this, a series of predictions. And I was just watching this side of Swamiji with a lot of joy. And then Swamiji said, I'm hungry. I want a vegan restaurant. Vegetarian. He didn't say vegan. He said vegetarian. Where can I get vegetarian? And the taxi man said, Swamiji, this is Spain. And not contemporary Spain. We are talking of Spain long ago. Decades ago, Spain. And here, nothing is there vegetarian. Just nothing is there. He said, no. There is. How can there not be? There is. I don't believe that everybody eats animals in Madrid, he said. And this was the days before, what is that called now? GPS. We had a GPS with us. GPS is Guru Paduka Stotram. Okay? Yeah, we had that GPS. We didn't need this other GPS. Swamiji was the GPS, as it turned out. He said, nonsense. He said, go straight. And the man said, it's fine for you to go straight. Where am I going? Just go straight. Turn. Turn means where? Left, right? Where do you want me to turn? Okay, take a left. No, right. And then like this, he made that man crazy. Left, right, straight, go, here, there. You turn. And then he said, stop. Must be here somewhere. And that man was aghast because we looked up. There was nothing on the, ground floor. We looked up and the only vegan restaurant that had just opened, the cab was standing right underneath that. Amazing. Then we went inside. So then I said, shall I call those people, the people who were there, who had come to visit him earlier, the doctor, his relatives, the family. He said, yes, call them. And then it was an interesting restaurant because you had to buy the food based not on the dishes but on the weight. So I went and told him, you sit here, they have to take the weight. So he thought he was being weighed before eating and afterwards. And then they would charge him based on that. He said, who thought of this silly system? Who thought of this idiotic system? I said, no, Swamiji, they're not going to weigh you. They're going to weigh the food. He said, even that is silly. So then then he said, those people were only 4 people. The doctor, his wife, and his elder brother, and his wife. 4 people were there. So I just was I made him sit. I was beginning to order for what I thought 4 people would enjoy. He said, no, more of this, more of that. And the man behind the counter spoke a little bit of English, and he said, how many people are you expecting? And Swamiji said, 11 or 12. I didn't say anything. I knew better by this time. So all the food came, and everything was taken to a large table. And he insisted they bring in all the chairs. By this time, these people came, and they were again only 4. And then me and Swamiji 6. Where are these other 5 people going to come from? And what is this for? I didn't ask. I just kept quiet. And then, a group of 5 people climbed up the stairs. And they saw Swamiji and said, Swamiji! They had known him. They were taking a vacation there, and they had known him from a very, very long time. And he just looked at me and smiled. See, here they are. And see, nothing will be wasted. And everybody sat down, ate, and everything. And then on the way back, he said, we had made the cab driver wait because he knew where to go, otherwise who to tell how to go, etc. And for him also some food was packed and taken. Then on the way back he said, the nightlife in Spain is not bad at all. Very good. Very nice. And so this was just very magical moments, many magical moments like this. This is a 3-part question. Part A. The discussion of Shravanam led me to think of Karma Yoga Buddhi and the development of Antahkarana Naishchalyam through Upasana or Sadhana. Does the steadiness of mind enable or support Shravanam? Definitely. 2 things support Shravanam. Antahkarana Shuddhi, Antahkarana, inner instrument. Inner instrument means what? Heart, mind, Chittam, the seat of the emotions. All these things together. Inner instrument. And that is filled with what? Raga and Dvesha. Raga, Dvesha crowd the mind, the heart. Raga, strong preferences. Dvesha, strong prejudices. They crowd the mind and heart, as a result of which there is no space for this knowledge. It's like a bamboo forest. Bamboo grows very quickly and does not let anything else grow. And that's what has to be cut down with the weapon of discrimination. Weapons of discrimination and dispassion, viveka, vairagya. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. This is there in the, what is that called? Gita. Which chapter? 15th chapter. We all know that because it is chanted before lunch. And whenever references to the 15th chapter are made, hunger may strike. So, we try to keep that as little as possible. So, the purification of the raga dvesha entail a very interesting process. It's like a very specific cleaning of an artifact, let's say. So first thing is to understand that they cannot be removed because it is Ishvara Srishti. Desires, preferences and prejudices will be there. Sarvesham buddhau ragadveshau vyavasthitau. In every buddhi, raga and dvesha vyavasthitau means it's been arranged, not by you, by Bhagavan. It's Ishvara Srishti, it is Ishvara's creation, projection. Oh, yippee, that means I can have a lot of raga dveshas. No, there's always a fine print which is in the last line. What is that? Tayoho vasham na agachet tau hi asya purushasya paripanthinau. Do not come under their spell, O Arjuna. This is a very big deterrent to the knowledge. So, first thing to understand is that all raga dveshas are not created alike. There are some which are harmless. Fewer and fewer actually. If we don't have a rich inner life, committed to inner growth, but still, even the person committed to raga dvesha will find a few raga dveshas harmless. What do we mean by harmless? That which does not create problems. Let's say somebody says, you take them to a cafe and they say, I prefer coffee. You can have tea, I prefer coffee. That's okay, because a preference is an ornamentation as long as I see it as a privilege. And what is an ornament? That which you can put on and take off at will, like a bangle, a bracelet. You put it on when you want to go for a celebration, a function, and then you come home, you take it off. If the raga dveshas are like that, then I am free to have them. I have a desire for this, and then I have this, and then it's finished, it's job, I take it off. But then there are other raga and dveshas that are sneaky and stubborn, where the preference becomes a noose around the neck of spiritual growth, stifles it. Why is that? Because they have what is called a binding nature. They bind. How does it bind? Because it's no longer a preference. I prefer to have coffee is no longer the issue. What is it? I have to have coffee. You see how from preference it has become a necessity. I have to have coffee. Why do you have to have coffee? Without coffee, my mood is offy. Okay, so I have to have coffee. Now there is a sense, it's not free anymore. There is a binding nature. So the second step is to, after delineating which are the binding raga dveshas and which are the non-binding raga dveshas, is to then leave alone the non-binding raga dveshas and deal with these ones that bind you to have their objects of desire. How to deal with them? You have to go on an intermittent fast. This is the in thing now. Intermittent fasting. Yes. So many times, for a long stretch of time, you fast. That is what intermittent fasting is. 12 hours minimum. 12 hours is not even considered intermittent fast. Minimum 15 hours, 17 hours, 32 hours. People have various ways of doing it. The idea is the system realigns itself. When it is not fed, it has a chance to rest. Otherwise, it's like a compost bin. Keep on stuffing, 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 stuffing. Especially in the ashram, the food is so tasty and all the time available. 3 meals, always fruit available, snacks available twice a day, and then freely flowing tea and coffee all the time. So intermittent fasting gives the chance to reset, recharge, rejuvenate on a mitochondrial cellular level. Similarly, if we do the same thing with raga dveshas, the binding variety, the non-binding variety we have kept aside, we are not going to discuss them anymore because they are not in the way of Vedanta, of moksha. So the first kind we are not worried about. The second kind, the binding variety, they have to be starved for a length of time. When we do this with food, it is called intermittent fasting. When we do the same thing with raga dveshas, it is called deferred gratification. I want this badly, but I can tell myself, you know what, I'm going to do a few things and I'm going to come back and see if the need for this, the desire for this is as strong as it is appearing right now. Perhaps the desire is masking a fear, is trying, what is it that I'm trying to do here? What is it that I'm trying to feed? Is the question needing to be asked. And that question takes time to understand, for the answer to come. I have to give it room, I have to give it space. Deferred gratification, as opposed to instant gratification. This itself is a problem because the whole society is set up to quick, instant gratification. You see in the supermarket, half the things have instant in front of them. Instant milk, instant oats, instant this, instant that. No time. No space to think. No space to just be. No space and no desire to express discomfort. And to go through the discomfort as a trial by fire, so to speak, and emerge from there free. This is the delayed gratification or deferred gratification is a very practical way. Because if you tell yourself, I'm not going to have it, you will want 2 of them, whatever it is. The desire comes back with a vengeance and catches you. But you shouldn't, we don't allow that. We want to catch the desire, we don't want the desire to catch us. So we don't say you can't have it. What do you say? Little later. I want it now, it is right there now, I want to have it now. Little later. Maybe in half an hour. Change the channel in that time. Go for a walk, do something. Be away from the object of desire, whether it's a thing, an event, a person, whatever it is. Be away. That's the next thing. Then, if one succeeds in deferred gratification, certain things are very dangerous to indulge in, especially if we are on this path. Therefore, they can be permanently deferred. Next janma, you say, not now. Why? As Pujya Swamiji would say, all the things I love are either illegal or immoral or have too many calories. So therefore, I can't have them. Certain things, that is step number 3. So out of the binding desires, that also again I divide into 2. The binding desires that I can allow myself in small measure without coming to grief. That's one kind of binding desire. And what is the other kind of binding desire? Certain binding desires that I can never, ever, ever allow myself to have. No matter what, even if I stand on my head. If I stand on my head, that's good because the blood will go to the brain and I will think properly. But I can never, ever allow myself to have this. Why? Because it will take me in a different direction than where I want to go. Why would I do that? Either it is against dharma, and then without dharma, righteous living, respecting others' property, others' sentiments, not hurting, etc., etc. Samanya dharma. Or maybe it transgresses what is called Vishesha dharma, things that are specific to certain situations, place-wise, time-wise, Vishesha dharma. I don't do that. And then maybe it doesn't cross Samanya dharma. It doesn't transgress Vishesha dharma. But it transgresses what? Swadharma. I want something for myself. Let us say I want this knowledge. And then I have understood that this knowledge I want to pursue it full time. Let us say someone makes that decision. I want to pursue this knowledge at the cost of all other pursuits because I am convinced, this person says, that this is what I want. I want moksha, and moksha is not available in the market to buy. That is mocha, okay? Yeah. So it's not available in Starbucks. And so that means what? I have to study. I have to find a teacher. I have to have commitment. And it is a committed lifestyle called brahmacharya, a focused, committed lifestyle. Then, once I have got into this lifestyle, for the sake of this knowledge, I have done that, then if I say, oh, I want to start a business, or I want to get married. First of all, who will marry, Unemployed and unemployable, brahmachari. So, these are certain things that I have consciously closed the doors of. I have made a conscious choice. Why? Because I value myself. I value my pursuit. I value my wants. And I value my want to get rid of all wants. That is the want for moksha. Moksha is getting rid of binding desires completely so that they don't pierce and prick me. So once I have decided that, then when I go against it, I go against myself, really. So that is, that is one way of saying, that is one reason why certain desires can never ever be pursued. There is one more reason. Certain desires can never ever ever be pursued, not because they are in the way of my commitment, but because I have a difficult relationship with those desires. Addictive relationship. Addiction is not just alcohol, okay? And I'm not just talking of alcohol, substance abuse. We are not talking of that. Addiction many times is even a person. Addictive. So, just like a person given to alcohol who has, with the grace of Bhagavan, discovered sobriety, can never ever ever again be left with a bottle. Not even for 2 minutes. Why? Addictive. Even after 20 years of being sober, in 1 second, that can go. And so, that's another reason certain raga dveshas are never ever 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 pursued. And this kind of a life gives antahkarana shuddhi. Not just this life, but also a life committed to growth and not just reproducing desires of all kinds. And that instead of reproducing desires and seeking what is called karma phala, results of action, becoming a karma phala-holic, what do? I'm not focused on the results of action. I'm focused on the action itself. And in this focus on the action itself, the action gets purified, the motivation for doing something gets purified. And the results, whatever it is received as prasada, a gift from Bhagavan, which I learn to accept happily. This is the teaching. This gives antahkarana shuddhi because it's all being done with Ishvara front and center, in full view. And so it gives what is called chitta shuddhi. The heart is pure and prepared to gain the knowledge. This is a beautiful thing. A person's heart may be pure, but the mind doesn't stay. The mind is like a butterfly, flitting from one object to another, one flower to another. Can't stay. This is, this mind needs sthairya, the ability to stay. I think the root verb stha, that's how the word stay in English must have come. So the mind has to learn to stay with one set of ideas, with how the ideas are being developed, and focus. Not to just get lost in the example. or the jokes. The jokes are just anesthesia, okay? Yeah. For Operation Ajnanam. So, not to get lost in that. Enjoy the examples and the jokes, but I don't lose sight of where this is going and what this purpose is. And that does not come easily, especially in this world of difficult challenges. Certain difficulties are there. It's all so fast. Everything quick, quick, quick. TMI, what is that? Too much information, all just flooding the brain all the time. Something ping, 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 something is going. Ding, 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 something is going. And it's all happening at once. And then there is a permanent urgency. All the time I have to attend, I have to attend, I have to be on all the time. And then the person says, I'm multitasking, I'm fine, I can do many things at once. You can't, really. You think you can, but you really can't. So here, the upasana, the meditation, the phala of karma yoga is chitta shuddhi. The phala of upasana is chitta nischalata, meditation. That is given by meditation. Nischalata, allowing the mind to stay. Usually we jump from thought to thought to thought to thought, like a frog. They say without rhyme or reason thoughts come. Not true. Reason may be there, but we don't know what it is. Sometimes reason is not there, rhyme is there. If I think of a Honda, what is the next thought? Bonda. Yeah, naturally. It was there for lunch, right? Yeah. Naturally. This is what we are used to. And that's how the mind works, frame by frame, and thank God. Because see, if I see a flower pot, and then I see an elephant, and the mind is just staying in one place, then they will all be sticking together. Then I'll have to see the elephant perched on the flower pot, then I see a book perched on the head of the elephant, like this it will be. And it's fine that the mind is like this. But it's not good when I have to focus. And the focus is encouraged by what is called sajatiya vritti pravaha, flow of the same kinds of thoughts. Usually it is vijatiya vritti pravaha. The mind is thinking of something and then there it goes. It just goes from there by association and you don't even know what you were thinking of. Why am I thinking of this now? Nobody knows. But here we remedy that by giving the mind a job to do. Now I'm telling you what to think. The mind says, what? No, I'm the boss. I'm the one who's taking you places. No, let's try this. Let's try this. Okay, the mind says. And then, what do I have to do? It's half interested. Think. Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, I can do that. Om Namah Shivaya. No problem. That was fun. Okay, can we do what I want? No. Next thought is also Om Namah Shivaya. What? Really? I told you. I got this. I did it. I told you. I chanted Om Namah Shivaya. No, next thought also is Om Namah Shivaya. All right. Om Namah Shivaya. Are we ready to play now? No. Next thought is also Om Namah Shivaya. Until this alarm dings, we are going to say Om Namah Shivaya. Oh. First thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Second thought, Om Namah Shivaya. And you try to convince the mind. Oh, look at what the Dalai Lama has said about meditation. Look at what the doctors say about meditation. Look at all this research about meditation. Okay. First thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Second thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Third thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Fourth thought, is anything happening? And then that is natural. Otherwise it would not be called meditation, it would be called samadhi. But this is meditation, the mind will go. And I repeatedly, lovingly bring it back, like a mother brings back a child back to the footpath where it is straying into traffic to play. A small toddler. I do that as many times as is needed. Then the mind gets accustomed to staying even in the non-meditative state. And that hones in the Shravanam. It makes a very big difference as to the quality of the listening. There is no noise and there is no interference, especially from the Adhyatmika. Right here, Adhyatmika means centered on I. There is no interference anymore. I just listen. That's all it is. So this is very, very important. In other words, don't skip meditation. What's the difference between jignasu and mumukshu? Not the same. Is it the same? It's not the same. Mumukshu to jignasu is again another quantum leap. Mumukshu is who? Moktum ichchuhu. The one who desires moksha. You ask anybody. Go to China and ask in Mandarin language. You want freedom? They will say yes. Are you a mumukshu? After you explain what is mumukshu, they will say yes, I am a mumukshu. Everyone is a mumukshu. Everyone wants to be free of something or the other, sometime or the other. And for that freedom, what you are doing, that is how you can use the other word jignasu based on the choices of the person. For the freedom, if one wants freedom, one can run away or try to run away from the responsibilities. Can't get very far, but still can try. One can end one's life because one is disenchanted and depressed. One can search for things in the wrong places, like the morning example of the village grandma needle, embroidery needle of the grandma in the village. So, this is all what a mumukshu does. But a jignasu makes the connection between moksha and knowledge. What is moksha? Not available in the market. Never, number one, never ever away from me. Number two. Number three, the separating factor between myself and Atma, moksha, whatever you want to call it, is not time or space, but self-ignorance. The one who has understood this and is committed to knowing the truth of oneself is called a jignasu. Mumukshu is garden variety. Everybody is a mumukshu, whether they know it or not. Jignasus, few and far between. Why does the Shruti use the word tat and not simply idam when describing Atma? Is it because we initially see Bhagavan as the other? Yes. Idam also means right here, right now. Idam. Etat idam. Idam means this. Adaha means that. Same thing we have in the closing prayer. Purnam, what? Purnam, not idam first. What is first? Adaha. If you don't see, if you don't know Sanskrit, you think Purna Madaha. Yeah. Purna Midam. And then you say, where is idam? Where is Adaha? Actually, it is Purnam Adaha. That is Purnam, the same. That Tat is referred to as Adaha. And the effect, this whole Jagat and everything, starting with my own body-mind complex, is idam, right here, objectifiable. So, that's why it refers it as that, Tat, Adaha. Is it because we initially see Bhagavan as the other? Yes, initially and for a long time. There is the feeling of separation, distance, and sometimes people like that distance also because they want some entity which is which they can go and milk to get the desires. Milch cow. Bhagavan as a milch cow. Kamadhenu. I can just go milk Bhagavan. I can say, milking is through prayers, upasana, etc. I can say, I want this, give me, give me, give me this. I want some entity that can give me some things. And that also is terribly, terribly addictive. Dindima will talk about that. Any other questions? Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Amritangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om